and I've got control of the camera because I've got this. It's so cool and it's so tiny. This is the iSteady V3 Ultra from Hohem, and I really like it. Partly because of its extendable arm, partly because of its inbuilt tripod, partly because of its AI tracking, and partly because this little thing comes off. This is the screen, and it comes off. We'll get into that in just a tick. G'day guys, what's cracking? My name's Ralph Mayhew, and we are reviewing this, obviously, because we came to review channel, which is what this is. Thanks Hohem for sending this to me, and let's have a look at it. You pull it out of the box and it comes as this. So that's as small as it's gonna fold up into, but it also comes with this beautiful soft bag that it fits effortlessly into and easily ties up. So you have some room in there. I think that's really helpful. Sometimes there's no extra room and it's a real challenge. Plenty of room. You also get a USB-C charging cable, like you do with everything. If you've never used these before, it's really quite simple. You just pull it up and you're ready to go. Now, let me show you the built-in tripod. This is so clever. So there's these little knobs at the bottom of the handle, like give spider arms, and it just pulls out. When they're in, you can't see it. There's also a 1/4-20 on the bottom, and it stands up. That is super helpful. Having no tripod for one of these is just hard work, and it's really cool to have it inbuilt rather than another piece that you have to carry around. You used to have your bag, and then you have your little tripod, and you have your thing, and it was a big unit. So they've cut down on the size of the unit, and these are quite sturdy. So I really like them. They're not bendy, they're quite sturdy. It's really good. This is the light and the AI detector. You can put it this way or this way. You want to make sure it's facing the way the camera lens is facing. So if you change your camera lens or you switch back to the self-facing phone camera, you just turn this around. It needs to be turned on, but once it's turned on, it will sync nicely with the unit. Then the other thing is this extends out. So you can extend it out this far, and then you can turn this up at the junction so it can actually vlog or shoot forward if you want a little bit of an extended arm on that, and then just compacts into the arm like so. On the back we have a trigger, on the side we have our power button and the USB-C charging point. On the other side we have a scroll, and then we have our screen which has a record button on it and a joystick. It's a touch screen and the screen comes off. I know. It's even got a button on the side. Having oriented you to the exterior of the unit, let's put the phone on. And what happens is you put your phone on before you turn the unit on, otherwise the unit just skitzes out of its mind. You face the camera forward, you make sure your vertical and horizontal axis are framed and balanced there. It should do that. And you turn on the side button here, and it will come to life. Then what you want to do as that happens is you want to download the app. It is the Hohem Joy app. There's a number of apps out there. The Joy one is the one you want for the V3. It looks like this as you download it and you operate it, and it automatically gives you some instructions about how to orientate yourself to the basics of the gimbal, which I find is really helpful and thoughtful. Once the app is on and the Bluetooth is connected, it connects automatically as soon as you pull it up, which is really, really helpful. Got one of my studio lights, you can see quite clearly through this and you can see what's going on. Now I'm going to orientate you to the on-screen controls, and then we'll look at the actual manual controls on the gimbal. You can select from live, pano, video, and time-lapse, time warp, and slow motion, and it will change the settings on your phone. And as you do that, you will see these settings change right here, which is very handy. Tells you exactly where it's at. You can access a zoom, very much so, or a very wide, or your standard. If you're on time-lapse, you'll see here video recording duration, shutter interval, and shooting modes. So you can select what you like there. We're going to go to video for the time being. Pulls it out there. We can choose what quality video we take, from 4K, 1080p, and 720 to 24, 25, 30, and 60 frames a second. We can just go to auto if it's all too hard and you just want the camera to do it for you. Then on the side, we have a creative studio where you can edit afterwards. We have some filters you can put on to make yourself look beautiful. None needed here. It's my birthday today too, by the way. Come on, happy birthday to me. Moving on, we can have an auto beauty. I'm going to turn the phone around. You do that by double clicking the record button, and then I'm going to go to the beauty filter, auto beauty, slimming. Okay, ready? Auto slimming, ready? Oh, it looks a bit weird, doesn't it? Looks a bit gaunt. Looks like a massive. I've got a 5 head with that. All right, let's go back to here. You can go big eyes. I guess in some cultures that's beautiful. Not in my culture. But if you float your boat, go nuts. I'll put these back on because everything's a little bit blurry this morning. We've got gesture control, and so it does operate based on your gestures. You need to be careful that in your videos you don't do the same gestures, because it will cause your gimbal to do things that you didn't realize it was doing, but it picks it up through the AI monitor here. And so this little gem is a real lifesaver. It's also a light, so you can control the light by holding down the button. On the side there's a orange sort of scroll, and then from there you can control what your light looks like, on and off. If I double click, I think it goes to orange, and I can go up and down to control the power of that light. So it's really good if you're vlogging and need some extra light on yourself based on what the external lighting is and the ambient lighting. And then to turn it off, you can just long press that and it turns it off, but the AI is still working when you turn off the light. It's a handy little addition. You can disable the stop gesture, because there is a start and stop gesture, which is this. But if you do this a lot in your videos, which I don't do this at all, but if you do this a lot in your videos, it will start and stop the video. So you can actually disable that. So when you do this, it doesn't start or stop your video, which is fine, because you can press the video, you can go back, and then you can just trim it afterwards. No stress whatsoever. And then we have settings. We have an aspect ratio, which you can choose between 1:1, 4:3, or 16:9. We have a mirror selfie. We have our grid, and you can choose whatever sort of grid you want on that. So it's just a frame and compose your shot, however is natural and best for you. Then we have a grayscale histogram if you need that. So it is up the top. To the left of the histograms, all your shadows. To the right of the histograms, all your highlights. So if it banks one way or the other, it just tells you that we're too overexposed or too underexposed. And then you have a white balance. You can choose what you like depending on what the day is, or just trust it to its auto. If you're going auto and you're shooting, say, inside in a certain environment, and then you're walking outside to a certain environment, it will change your white balance. And your white balance is your yellows and your blues, so your warmth and your cold, and your tone or your tint, so your pinks to greens. So if those different things are happening in your scenario, you don't want to go from that scenario to another, and it'll change the way the color looks, and that's a pain. So it's best to set one which you think is most appropriate, and then use that as you move from one setting to another, if you're going to record continuously from that setting to the other. So tell us what your battery levels are on your phone and on the gimbal, which is super helpful for longer projects. And I think that basically just orientates us entirely to what we're doing. So now let me just experiment with what the gimbal can do and show you on the screen. So bear with me. What we're going to do is we're going to hit the record button once on video, and that should turn on the video. Good, video's turned on. Once to turn off. If you want to change to photo, you double click it. It goes to photo, and one press of the photo takes a photo. And then if I double press, it goes back to video. If I want to select any of the others, I just have to use my hand and scroll on these bottom options just here. There's a trigger on the back. Usually there's a trigger on the back with these. So if I press the trigger once, it activates the AI tracking, which focuses most on the main subject. If I press it twice, it straightens. So watch this, let me just unstraighten it. And if I press it twice, beautiful. If I press it 3 times, goodbye. It switches around, right? And once we're facing that way, if I triple click the record button, it will make it into the other lens. So it'll flip around to the lens, and then if I flip it around, I'll be looking at you. But this is kind of a bit of inception, isn't it? It's me looking at me, me looking at me, looking at you, looking at me. I'm going to turn on the light now, and then if I do this, it'll change it to blue, to orange, and then I can take the light down, no stress, or turn it up. The light has to be turned on with the mechanical switch, but you can just clip these sides, pull it off, turn it around, and it will light me now. And that's how the AI tracking works. So the AI tracking, let's see if I can do this, works like this. So I draw a picture out, a square around my face, and then because of this AI tracker, it tracks me, keeping my face in the middle of the shot. How good's that? And that works to about 5 meters away. So you don't want to go too far away, because it's not going to be able to track you anymore. But Honestly, if you're like the only thing and you're pretty obvious, like if you're in a yellow jacket and you're in the bush, you could probably walk a mile away and it'll still track you. So yeah, opportunity there to have a bit of a play. I can use hand gestures, and I don't use many hand gestures, so that's not kind of my thing, but they're really good. There's one actually where you can do this and you can reframe yourself, and then you can click back and it actually holds where you are in the frame. Now, what about when we want to change the orientation? Well, that's what moves us into this little touch screen button here that is really, really cool. There's an orientation button, and if I click that, it simply turns the phone round nice and easy. There's a zoom button there that I can zoom in. If I hold that, it zooms all the way in, and it'll keep going. Oh, there you go. You can see a bit of my office that you don't. And then it swaps between lenses and it keeps going and going and going depending on what the zoom capacity of your lens is. And the same as you reverse out. Now that's subtle and it's nice, and you might be just like, I just need to change quite quickly what lens I'm on and then go from there. And that enables you to do that. Then you can choose your point of view. So you can lock it in anywhere you like and that will stay stationary, or you can go pan follow, which is what I like to use. So it spins around from side to side. You can go pan tilt follow. So therefore it has some softening and cushioning at the end of each of those motions, and then POV is just a free-for-all. If I scroll to the left, it gives me a live view. So this is super cool. That is the live view. See, the delay is not too bad. And I get live view. So I could be filming this somewhere, and I can grab this, and I've got control of the camera because I've got this. It's so cool and it's so tiny, but I love it. And it tells you, it reveals all the lights. So it tells you where you're at with your charging, with your connectivity, and with the health of the V3. And I can change things from here. So I can zoom in using this as a remote control. That's how clever it is. So I could set this up somewhere and sneak away. When there's an animal there, I might do that. That could be fun. And then if I right click, I have control over the joystick. So we have tilt is 3 speeds and C+. Now I like CCW. So when you move this, it moves in the direction. It's just a funny tactile thing, but you can change the way it shifts on the way you tilt. So I like the negatives. We're going to go the negatives, and you can change the tilt speed and the pan speed, which is really, really handy. If I go to scenario, it has a few scenarios we can play with. It has a pan rotation where I can choose one of these and I can choose the speed, and then it just does it. I can do the same with the roll rotation where I can choose one of these and it just does it. And I can control the speed, obviously. I can shoot a panorama. I can go a 9 or 3 by 3. So if I do that and I go start shooting, it will go and it has a variety of other options with that. It has a 180 panorama, a 360, and a 720 all around the world. So that's pretty cool. And when I select time lapse, it can make all the alterations that I need to make there. I can go light control, and so I can control what the little light on the side does exactly. And then I have more settings here: language, tutorial, AI settings, motor strength, full speed, follow speed, default orientation, the gimbal sound, and the brightness, level calibration, device info, and firmware version. What do you think? I mean, I'm impressed. I've used these over the years. What I really like about this, that I think it really brings it into its own, and it's at this price tag, that is this tripod that it sits on, the fact that it can do AI tracking. It's really quite easy to use, and once you familiarize yourself with it, and I think you can basically do everything you need, including extend it out if you need to do a bit of selfie work or get to that particular angle. So thanks, Hohem, for sending this to me. I appreciate our partnership. And if you've got any questions, I'll do my best to answer them down below. Thanks heaps for watching, everybody. If you like and subscribe, you'll get to see more of these videos. If you don't like and subscribe, you'll still get to see them. But yeah, won't you? So it just mean a bit to me if you did. Anyway, enough babbling. Thanks heaps for watching, everyone. See you in the next video. Oh, and there's links to this down below. There's always links down below. If you're like, what is it? Go down below. All right, bye.